My name's Joel. I'm alcoholic. And I'd like to say welcome to the new people to the program Alcoholics Anonymous. It's really important. I just got a pretty healthy welcome when I was new, and it was by people that understood drinking, and they could put it in terms that I could understand, and that's what I'm going to try and do. First thing I want to say to new people, because the people that are sober, I don't really want to tell you how to get sober or anything, so I like to carry this message to the new person. It's really important. We're not trying to get you to do some new thing. What we hope is that you'll stop doing what you're doing if you have a desire to do that, and it's really important. There's like no big trick to this. I know that I just got with a group of people that knew about the drinking game, what kind of lies I was going to tell before I could get them out. And I don't know. Here's how it started for me. My parents were drinking highballs. That's bourbon and Coke. That's what it was. They called it highballs. But I was pretty little, and they had it on the coffee table, and I grabbed the bottle off the coffee table and just started swigging it down. The address of that house was 1025 St. Louis, and that's just important. Or 1041 St. Louis, excuse me, because that's important. I didn't get drunk that day, but I knew what drunk was by watching all these other people, and I acted drunk. And then I went over and laid on the floor and acted like I passed out. And then I really passed out. And I remember like waking up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Just everybody went to bed, and I was just a little kid, and like they just left me there. And they didn't put a blanket on me. They didn't put me up in bed or nothing. And that was my first resentment. It's like somebody should have did something about this. And you know, I'm the one who was acting that way. And I don't know. Then I used to like walk down 10th Street. I'm from Long Beach, and I grew up in that area. And I used to walk down 10th Street from Cherry Street to about Redondo to get to school. And I'd seen some guys sniffing gasoline one time. And nobody showed me how to sniff gasoline right. So first I just liked the way it smelled a little bit. And then I got closer, and then I liked the way it made you feel warm. And then I would huff that stuff until I would be completely laying down on the ground and waking up and going to second grade. And I know this ain't Gasoline Anonymous, so I'm going to move on from that. Then it was like, you know, my parents were big alcoholics, so we're hopping all over the place in Long Beach and stuff, and we're walking down to that little lagoon thing down there, and me and my brothers, I got 6 brothers and 6 sisters, and the same parents, and we're Irish people, and Irish people can get sober, in case you got that. And we were walking down this little recreation area in Long Beach, and one day there's music coming from across the street, and the hippies had taken over the park, and it was a love-in, and so we all drifted over there, man, and I seen these people passing these big yellow reefers around, because that's what they used to roll, these big yellow reefers, and I said, I got to get me some of that smoke right there. And I finally get in a circle, and it's coming around, it's coming my way, and I finally get it, and I'm smoking it, and I'm smoking it, and this guy all of a sudden elbows me and goes, "Pass it, you little Bogart." It was my first joint ever I had, and I didn't start doing it every day, but I can remember when I went to 7th grade. I mean, I went to school, and I walked up to the gate where the other kids that weren't going to go to school were standing, and I immediately got hooked up with them, and I didn't even drink the way they were all in trouble, and I didn't even drink the way they did. They would drink, and you know, get about 10 o'clock or something, and then I got to go in and do my homework or go home or whatever. And me, I'm ready to go start stealing shit. And I got this thing inside of me, like it doesn't care if everybody else went home, and you're going to keep doing this, and I don't stop. And I didn't turn into an alcoholic yet. But I do remember right across the street from that school, there was a big party going on, and there was a bunch of sailors in there, and they were like letting us drink wine and smoke weed. And I remember getting drunk that night, and I remember coming out of the weed, and it just felt good. And I said, I'm going to be like this the rest of my life. I will never stop doing this. And I mean, I just felt like this is how other people feel, you know, and I want to stay this way. And what that thing turned into next inside of me was I I got this big family. My dad's a carpenter. We got enough food and clothes and rent and stuff, but like I don't have an extensive get-loaded income and unlimited resources. But this thing up here doesn't care if I have money or not. It doesn't care if everybody else went home. It's like, you need to go get something to drink, and you will go get something to drink. And what I did, I turned into a little stealing alcoholic, and I really wasn't that good of a stealer. I was a better vandalizer, and I mean, I'd open the back door, smash everything in the place, get about $35, which is like 15 minutes of like a night of enjoyment. And I would spend like 8 hours a day doing that, all dirty, coming home from like a shift at the coal mines and stuff, and have nothing to show for it. And then you keep doing that stuff, and then blam, you're in jail, and boom, you're in juvenile hall, and boom, you're at YA. And I don't know, man. I was pretty cool with it. Like while I was in there, when I didn't have no drugs and alcohol in me, I could do what they said to do and get out. And I can remember my friend's sister, while I was in there, had grown up and kind of started writing and stuff. And I ended up getting out, and me and her hooked up and had a baby. And that girl, I told her I was going to be one thing. And I remember taking the first drink, getting a Budweiser. And all that stuff that I had promised her had become a lie with that first beer, because it turned into, can you just do this or just do that? Can you just have a couple? Can you just do it on the weekends? And I would promise, yep, don't leave me. But with the pop of that top in that first drink, everything that I said before was a lie. And she was doing all the work, and I was doing all the laying around the house, trying to heal myself. I'm 20, years old, and I can't even get up and go to work because I'm so drunk all the time. And I don't know, that thing, we run out of money, she leaves me, and that thing turns on. You're out of money, ain't got a wife, you need to get high. You got to go stealing. Now I'm an adult, and they start treating you like an adult. And they gave me some probation when I caught a burglary again, and then I almost made it through that, except I got arrested for burglary again. And they sent me up to Tehachapi, and I don't know how it got like this. Wait a minute, man, I was just trying to like have a drink, and I get up there, and I took in a plea bargain. I don't get that TV plea bargain thing. That ain't what happens to me. Mine is more like, we'll drop the priors, you do the maximum term. I say, okay. And I ended up spending 3 years up in Tehachapi, and I got out, and I didn't see my wife, and I didn't see my kid. And within 40 days, I'm back with those people that I was working with before, and doing exactly what I was doing before on the same street, stealing from the same place. I got caught. They offered me a plea bargain. Same deal as last time. Maximum term, and I don't know, I was okay to function. I gave my life to the Lord the other time, but I kept on. Well, I was back re-giving my life to the Lord, and I don't know, I got out, and everybody I know had got addicted to heroin during that time I was in there. I came out, and everything was a big mess, just a big mess. And I knew that I was not ever sticking a needle in my arm. And I got this little girl to be my girlfriend, and got her all strung out on methamphetamine and alcohol, and me and her are fighting all the time, and I'm out of money, and I ain't got nothing to get high on, and I go to these people's house, and they said, we don't have anything here except this, and it's in a needle. And that thing I said a minute ago, I was like, I'll never do that. When that was the only thing to do, I did it. And it turned into my new life. And I don't know, me and that girl drinking, using, arguing. That's what our deal was. And she had this big brother. And what he does is he comes over to our house with a bathroom scale and puts it on the floor and says, if she loses 1 more pound, I'm going to kill you. And he never got to use that. The next time he came by on the way in or whatever, me and her were arguing, and I smashed his mirror, and he just started whipping my ass, threw all my stuff out in the street, and I'm wheeling my stuff down the street in 2 shopping carts, and He pulls up in the car and kicked my ass again. He was really pissed. I got all my stuff wheeled over to my friend's house, you know. And I'm over there, and I turn their lives upside down, too, you know, and they finally come at me, you know. We've decided we're going to move in 2 weeks. And I go, well, where are we going to go? They meant, well, we're moving in 2 weeks, and you're not going to be here anymore after today. And I called my brother out in San Bernardino and said, you know what I need to do is I need to go to San Bernardino and get a fresh start. And I get to San Bernardino, and I ain't got no money. I ain't got no hope. I don't know how this is going to turn out. And then I find out the connection lives over the fence, and the liquor store gives him credit. And when that guy cut us off a credit, I was real insane, really, really crazy. When that guy cut us off a credit, I would walk in there and take whatever I want and go up to the counter and go, why don't you try and stop me from taking this stuff? And he was scared, and I was glad. And it was just a big mess up there. And then I started doing up there what I do in Long Beach, man. I started stealing again, because I got this thing in me, man. Doesn't care. Now you're staying at other people's house that live in a different town than you, and you don't have any money, and you don't have a job, and your girlfriend won't talk to you. Your kitty won't come here no more. And drink. You're going to be drinking. And I started stealing out there, and I was stealing the tops of washing machines that I couldn't open. And so I had a big stack of washing machine tops, and I broke into a skating rink, and I almost got away, but it was a small town. What happened was I came out of this skating rink with a bunch of change, and I take off running. It's real foggy, and the cops are coming. I hear them, and so I climb this tree. But it was, like I said, a small town in San Bernardino. That was the biggest thing that had happened in a long time. I finally came down out of the tree when the sun came up. And the cops were still there looking for, you know, the suspect. And they made me climb the fence. Usually I'm younger and I'm stronger, and I run from the cops like the wind. And he tells me, he's like, why don't you climb that fence and come on over here so I can talk to you? And he's like, okay. And he starts checking my pockets, and like, this is some skate ball bearings and some skate keys, some wheels, and some letters that say skating rink on them. And they offered me a plea bargain. It was the same as the other deals, and you know, I'd already thought about killing myself. I thought about committing suicide so many times I almost did kill myself. It was really a weird deal, and I can remember like being 20 years old and acting real bad, and you know, not having a way out when I woke up in the morning, and getting so drunk that night that I taped a hefty bag to one side of the gas pipe on the oven and taped the other side to my neck and turned the gas on and passed out drunk like that. And then I woke up in the morning. I was reincarnated as me. Just a big mess, man. I got that stuff off me. What am I doing? Guess what the first thought I come up with? Okay, I need a drink. I need a drink really bad. I just try to kill myself because I drink. And they offered me a plea bargain. They added a new twist to this one, though, too, because now I'm not so ready to take plea bargains, but they said, we'll give you an OR, too. An OR? Well, I'll move to France if you let me out of here. And then so I took the deal. They gave me the OR, but, like, you got to have some money if you're going to move to France. And I wasn't going nowhere. And I was out, I don't know, probably 60 days, and I started doing the same thing. I'm drinking and getting loaded, and just doing it all the time, and I'm getting tired. I got this big stack of washing machine lids with a bunch of change in them that I can't do nothing with, and you know what my brain started thinking is like, you know what, man, a couple years in jail is going to do you good. You'll be better in jail. You can get some coffee, and walk the track, lift some weights, and dedicate your life to the Lord. And it was just a big-ass mess, man. I'm looking forward to going to jail. And I've already done 6 years during the 1980s, and it ain't getting any better. And I get in there, and I'm not even dedicating my life to the Lord. I just know what you do. You mind your own business. Don't rat on anybody. Don't borrow any money. Don't, just a bunch of don'ts. And I pretended like I like to read a lot. I'm fucking reading Steinbeck. I'm, Dickens, all this stuff. I'm getting a lot smarter. And I got my nose plugged in a book, and I'm really waiting to die in there. And I've been in there, like now that we're heading, towards year 8, and I looked down one day, and I've been able to tell myself before that, like, I was in the Army and stuff. And I just do this thing. And I looked down at myself one day, and I said, I got these big brown shoes on. I got these blue pants, and I'm wearing this blue shirt. I mean, this same jail food as everybody else. Everybody farts the same in jail. It's like you all eat the same thing. It smells the same. Who farted? I looked down at myself, and I don't know, man. I must have came out of a blackout. I'm in jail. It was really a weird thing, too, because I started thinking, you know what, man, I got to get some tattoos. I've been doing this for 8 years, and I thought this is what my life is, and I'm not kidding myself anymore. This is what it's going to be. You've been doing this for 8 years. You've been doing it longer than that with all the, the stuff you did when you were a kid. You're never going to change. And it was really weird because right then, I started hanging around with some different guys. They were going to AA on Tuesday and NA on Thursday. And these guys would come in this H&I panel, which I want to, let you know that please go on panels. Please go on panels. If you get asked, go. That guy that said he wants somebody to help him in the back, that kind of help I got was like, you help is your help. And I don't know how that turns out and works out like that, but that's what the deal is around here. But these guys would get up there and go, oh, yeah, I know what it's like to be out there. And didn't get a visit, got a Dear John letter, can't get on the phone line. You're too far away. You don't know what's going on out there. Those guys knew what I was feeling. And they said they'd found a way out, and they found it in Alcoholics Anonymous. And they would pull out their wallet. They'd pull out their discharge card and goes, I've had this for 3, 7, 10, 15 years. And the way that I got this was through Alcoholics Anonymous. And I thought, that's what I want that too. So then I got me a little big book in there and stuff, and I was going to find that way out too. And I got out of jail on January 19th, 1990. And where I got out of was Jamestown this time. And the bus stopped in Bakersfield. And there was a big sign across the street, yellow sign, black letters. It said L-I-Q-R, L-I-Q-O-R. I said, they left something out, but I know what that means, liquor. And I ran across the street, got my first 2 tall cans of Budweiser in there. And I don't remember how many times the bus stops between L.A. and Bakersfield, but it stops a bunch because when I got to downtown L.A., my homeboys, who I haven't heard from in 2 years, were there, and I must have called them somewhere along the line. They were passing a piece of aluminum foil back in front of the front seat. They weren't singling any planes. I said, give me some, and they said, we just ran out. And I'd saved about $800 in there, and I just threw the whole thing over the front seat, and said, let's go get some more. And $800 is good for, a couple days. And except I was supposed to be at the parole office in the morning. And so finally, I'm out of money, and I'm out of where to go, and I went down to the parole office, and he said, we need you to pee in this bottle. That's the first words out of his mouth, like I was under suspicion. And what makes you think that, because your record, you got it all down in black and white, you're a big-ass alcoholic drinker and dope addict. And right here, it's written all down. And I remember going in the bathroom with that thinking, you're in so much trouble. And I started saying this prayer, and it was like, God, you've taken me through those 8 years, and you've taken me through all those riots and all that craziness on the street and everything. If you could just reach your miracle hand down and clean this piss up for me. Prayer didn't get past the ceiling, obviously. He came back because now I'm at my parents' floor, and he comes over to my parents' house and said, "Oh, we seem to have found a trace of urine in your chemicals." And he says, "I'm not going to violate you. What I'm going to do is put you on this community outreach thing, and you go down here to 20th and Pacific and check in." And so I get down there, and they gave me these vitamins that were going to stop all my cravings. And then they gave me these antabuse, which is going to like make it impossible for me to drink. Those vitamins didn't help a bit. Those antabuse, well, the only thing I could really think of then is like, I got to get off antabuse. It's killing me. I tricked some girl into marrying me. She was from another country, and she didn't speak our language, and we immediately got a baby. That baby was really weird because it was really a tough period of my drinking and using, because I got that AA from jail thing going on in my head. There's a way out of this, but I can't do it. I ain't got this stuff. And that baby was born about as big as this bottle of drink right here. She was 1.5 pounds, and premature. She wasn't premature. She was very low birth weight. It's pretty common for dope addicts. And she would get up in the morning and take the bus to the hospital and breastfeed and donate breast milk to the other premature infants. And I would get up in the morning and go do what I do. And the baby finally got up to weight. We finally got to bring it home, and I blew the rent money and got us evicted and moved us into a garage. And she got us out of that one and got us a little apartment. And you know, I'm shooting a lot of meth now. And one day I couldn't find any meth, and Satan was walking down the street and pulled a piece of crack out of his mouth and gave me that. And it cured me of my meth problem. That wife left me. No more crying. No more begging me to stay home. Just like, so long. I don't care. And I remember taking all the stuff and helping her pack. Yes, take everything. Take everything. And then I wake up in the morning and everything's gone, and I'm mad about it. She left a bag of rice and an onion in a pan. And I don't know how to cook rice. My life's just going to hell, and I caught a shoplifting case then, and they offered me a plea bargain on shoplifting. It was, well, I would have got away with that like the other times if I just wouldn't have got caught. And they said, you know, you can do, because I gave them my C number instead of my E number, and the C number came back as discharged. And some of you might not understand that, but most of you look like you do. And they offered me Warm Springs instead of jail for 90 days. And I took the deal and went to Warm Springs, and I was there for 82 days when they gave me a drug test. And right where they handed me the bottle, I'm like, listen, I got to tell you something, because I'm going to work this honest program now. Never mind what I've been doing all along. And they go, well, good, pee in here anyway, and then get out. And I went homeless. I didn't have anywhere to go, and nobody let me in. And then I finally, after 9 months, I went to this sober living house and said, because I had this case hanging over my head, I got to get back in the program. And so I go to this sober living house and said, I'd like to get in this sober living house. And the guy looked at me and said, you got to be sober to get in here. I thought, that ain't no deal. I can't do that. But it got to be about 7 months of wandering the streets and living in a backpack, man, dressed for 3 o'clock in the afternoon at 3 in the morning, freezing. And then I'd start calling Warm Springs and get back in there. Finally, they let me in. I did their 90-day program, got a certificate of rehabilitation, and got drunk on the way home. If you haven't got where my little mistake is each time so far, I'm going to put it in real simple terms. I keep picking up the drink. I just do it over and over, no matter what the consequences are. I can't even remember why I didn't want to drink a little while ago. This thing, like, I could be perfectly sober, and then I go in this, like, strange mental blackout. I'm like, drink, and okay. And I got drunk on the way home the second time, and I go to the 12-step house. I trick them into letting me in, and they give me enough rope to hang myself and finally kick my ass out. They've been open since 1954. It's on 6th and Alameda, it's downtown. And I go to my parents' house and tell them, you know what? They don't know what they're doing down there. can I live with you guys till I get on my feet? And they said, sure, yeah, come on, what are they going to do? I'm their son, and so I moved into the senior citizen building with them. And it's just a big mess. I was not getting straightened out, man. I got a skateboard. I'm 35. As soon as they go to bed, this ain't a recreational skateboard down at the banks and shit. I'm just how I get around. And they go to bed. I steal money, and I go down and buy booze and other stuff and sit back up. And I'm up there, and I've been doing this 9 months, and I'm in the bathroom drinking 40s of cheap beer. It's cheap, and it's the kind I drink. Matter of fact, if I have $1,000, I don't mind drinking cheap beer. It's pretty good. And I'm in there and I'm smoking and drinking, and my mom needed to use the bathroom because it's a senior citizens building. She knocks, I let her in. She comes out, I go back in, and then when I came out of there, I was walking by their bedroom, and I just looked in there, and I knew something was wrong. I walked over and I felt her, and she was cold. And yeah, and I yelled, Dad, there's something wrong here. So we called 911, we give her CPR and all that stuff. These firemen, it's the same one that came when that baby was born, the little tiny one in the apartment, because my ass is so loaded, don't have a car, and don't believe that she's really having a baby. They have to come to the house. And it looks like the same guys. They look healthy, and they got muscles, and they're here to the rescue, and then he got me, junkie boy. And but I remember asking one of the firemen, like, is she going to be okay? And he looked at me the same way those guys when they told me to go boil water while they're hauling my wife and kid off. She's been dead for a half hour. What are you talking about? Is she okay? How do you people let it get this far? And that wasn't enough. My dad left with her body, and the minute he got out the door, I stole $400 from him. And that was on a Tuesday. My mom's funeral was on Saturday at 10. I woke up Saturday at 2, and I missed her funeral too. And I'm broke. And where are you going to run now? Nowhere. I got nothing to do, and all I could think is kill yourself. And I'm not one of those people that could kill themselves. I'm one of those people that's going to keep living that way. And I don't know. I was going to kill myself if I could just get drunk enough to do it. But what happened to me was I couldn't talk anymore. I can't walk. I can't see straight. But that little part of my mind, that one of like, look what you did now, this turns out the other part of my mind of like, you're going to pay for this. That wouldn't get drunk. It would not get drunk. I couldn't stop thinking of what I turned into and what I just did. And it wasn't enough alcohol to make that thing shut off. And I don't know, I was at the Broadland Hotel, and I'm on the 4th floor, and I'm just trying to find a way to like fall out the window. And I eventually called this 1-800-DON'T-JUMP number, and they sent a limousine down to pick me up with a guy with a little cap on and stuff, man. And I get in there, and they give me the blood pressure, the temperature, and the yellow Valiums. Those life-saving yellow Valiums, man. And they forgot to take my name off the list. And I had them for 15 days. And then at some point they stopped working because I was seeing monsters, peeking in the windows at me. And I went to the doctor and said, you need to give me the blue Valiums now. I think he said something like, I'm the doctor. They don't have pills for alcoholism. I was like, you got to do something. And he said, I'll pray with you. And he did. And what happened was I went back to that sober living that I mentioned where they said you got to be sober to get in, because I had 3 days left of that program. I did all 12 steps right like that. And I went back to that sober living house. That's where I met Walter Honeycutt. He was 2 years sober. He's still in the sober living house. You loser. He told me to take me through the steps in a half hour or some crazy stuff. And I thought, I'm a drinker. I'm not going to be here in a half hour. And all that time, I'd hit meetings, and I'd touch base, and I'd checked in, and this ain't about touching base and checking in. And I'd sit in the middle of the meeting, someplace in the back or off to the corner, and all those sober sons of bitches. And I'd have a big lump in my throat. My high school diploma, I got my college, it's my girlfriend, I got a Lexus. Fuck, man. How do you not drink? And I had this big lump in my throat, too, because I knew what was going to happen when I left, man. I'm going down to get some Cobra. And I didn't want to drink Cobra. I mean, I really don't want to go drink, but I couldn't understand this Lexus high school diploma shit. New girlfriend thing. When I get my girlfriend, I can't even afford a vow. I got in a group of people. They're at the round table, and they were crusty and mean. And I thought they were all about 150 years sober, and they weren't. They were anywhere from 5 to 15 years sober. And they, again, talked about drinking in terms that I can understand, wanting to stick their head right through the wall sober. And I didn't get promised that all that stuff would happen to me. They said, well, do you think you want to stay sober? And I said, well, of course. Don't you just realize what just happened to me? And they said, what if it don't feel good? So, I didn't think about that. But I found a way to stop drinking in there, and it changed my life. All the problems that I was having that were caused by drinking stopped the day I stopped drinking. And I stayed in there for 10.5 months. And I've been to 4 meetings that day, and I left a podium a lot like this one at that club and forgot to not drink on the way home. I drank a half pint of Yukon Jack, and I didn't get drunk. I didn't get a buzz. Nothing happened, but this thing kicked in. Is the crack house still open? And I did that all night long, and I ended up, this is a really weird part of the story, and I'm going to hurry this up because I want to get to the part where I get saved by Alcoholics Anonymous. But I get this, I was going to get prostitutes, but they had the day off. And I got this porno movie, and I never got a prostitute yet, but I'm looking for one. I got this porno movie, and this guy's trying to do it to this girl better in this movie, and then he puts his hand on the wall, and then next to his hand is a picture frame, and inside the picture frame is a serenity prayer. And, it wasn't 24 hours. Within 18 hours of picking up that first drink, I'm down at College Hospital. It's the nut house. It ain't the detox. And I'm going, I'm going to have to tell them I'm crazy to get in there. And I'm not really crazy, but I'll tell them it. And that's crazy. And they let me in, and then I tricked them into letting me out, and then they let me out. And if you haven't got it yet, I just picked up another drink. I did it a minute ago. I'm going to do it again right now as soon as I get out of the nut house, and I'm in the alley behind the liquor store, man. I got an apartment down the street, and I'm back in the alley, and I'm trying to choke down some old granddad, which I love the name of booze. Old granddad. That one at least. Wild turkey. And something just happened to me, man. I can feel it today like I felt it then. It wasn't I was losing my job, getting fired, kicked out, probation violation, on-hand abuse, kicked out of detox, drunk again. It was just a quiet voice in my head said, if you take one more drink out of this bottle, you'll never leave this alley. It was King Alcohol, and I believed him. And that was on July 30th of 1994. I went back to the AA club. That was on July 20th of 1994. I went back to the AA club on July 30th of 1994. And down at the round table, we just don't drink no matter what. I love the round table because that's the reputation it has. But I know the round table. I've seen more people get pulled up through there. Jennifer on Kathy's couch, Skippy on Ray's couch, and get a job and help me and that sort of stuff. There's all kinds of panels going in and out of there, and there's people that work this program with a dedication like, I only aspire and hope that I get to have. But this guy that I knew, he wasn't talking about this before, but all of a sudden he's carrying a notepad and a big book. And I thought, oh, round table mutiny, huh? And I asked him if he'd show me what he was doing. That guy took me through the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Started at about 7 months sober, and I got to take my first guy through the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous at about 18 months sober. And I'm a guy that takes guys through the steps now. I don't know how I got like that. But that's not the only thing. That little baby, I'm a child support payer. I'm not bragging what a nice guy. I wouldn't do it if the DA didn't, attach my wages and shit. And when they first told me how much it was, I thought, my life is over. I'm going to be working for the government. And you know what, man? I haven't missed a payment. I'm not on wage attachment yet, but they get me every time. And, I got a kid that calls me real regular. After I ripped off my dad in my first year of sobriety, I had a key to his door. I didn't miss his funeral. I missed my mom's funeral because I was drunk, and I was at my dad's funeral because I was sober thanks to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I just make a big mess of things. And Alcoholics Anonymous isn't asking you to do something new. You know, what they're asking you to do is stop doing what you're doing if you're hurting. If you really want to, you know, make a change where you feel like you can live in this life too, this program's available to anybody. I haven't had that little blackout thing happen that, you know, the little bell goes off that I got to go drink again. And I got a new sponsor in June and started going through the steps again. I made a big mess of things. I was in a relationship for about 6 years. I don't want to say too much. Some of you people know her, but I was a pretty loyal and devoted boyfriend, except for that one time. And I tried to, you know, this girl was hanging around my house. She'd been there before, and I never did nothing. I thought it was okay. And then one day I thought, like, I was picking up some signals that, like, she wanted me. And she didn't. And then, so then she called my girlfriend and told her. I couldn't believe it. One little mistake. And anyway, so I mean, I felt really bad about that. I didn't feel like drinking so much, but I really felt like, what have you, what have you turned into? You know, what are you doing? And I don't know. I went and saw this guy that I'd been seeing for a couple years, and I walked up and said, you know what, man? Every time I see you, you're all cool and mellow, and every time I see you, I'm all fucked up. And he said, sounds like you need to do the steps again. And you know what? Just asking that guy, I said, well, will you take me through the steps? And just asking him, a big weight fell off me right then. I felt like, okay, I'm safe again in Alcoholics Anonymous. And that guy hasn't even asked me about that incident, the reason I came to him. He doesn't even know why I'm there. But I show up when he says show up, and I show up where he says he shows up. I'm the new guy, and he's the guy that's been sober a long time. I'm the idiot, and he's the guy that seems to know how to live in this world comfortably. And I'm getting results by simply doing what he says. And like I said, when I started this thing, I'm not here to save the people that are already saved. I hope if you're new that, you know, you can find a way to stop doing what you're doing if it hurts. And you wouldn't be here. If you don't think you're an alcoholic, maybe, please, just look where you're sitting. I don't care how you got here. This is a good deal, and I found a way to stay sober, and I also have developed a relationship with a higher power, and guys ask me, you know, will you take me through the steps? I think you're asking the wrong guy, and me and Mike talked about me doing this a long time ago, and I thought, listen, man, there's people that have been sober a long time, and they know how to talk and stuff, and I don't know, I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad that you all are here, and I just really want to make this clear again that, like, on page 25 of the big book, it says, we tried to, you got two options. You can continue to try to pretend like your life isn't all screwed up, or you can accept spiritual help. Accept the spiritual kit of tools laid at your feet. I want you to understand what it's saying. Accept. It's not even saying ask for it. It's just accept this thing that's being offered to you. And this is a good group. It's different than the Imperial Alano Club I remember. And get involved in this thing. I hope it happens for you. And I hope that you'll accept this thing that's been so freely given, to me and to Mike and Maureen and some of these other guys and gals that are in here and enthusiastic about it. Love to talk about it. Nothing like one alcoholic talking to the other alcoholic. It really helps a lot if one of them ain't drinking, but it's a big improvement over that other thing. I don't know how you're going to do it. What I hope is that you have that desire, because that's the thing is too. Is I don't think I brought a desire to stay sober. I brought a bunch of insanity, and I got with a bunch of people that they say this is a selfish and self-centered program. If that's the truth, then I've had some really incredibly selfish and self-centered people do some really incredible unselfish and unself-centered acts to help carry me through this thing. All my friends, I couldn't show my face. It's like, what are you talking about? You're with us. Thanks for letting me share.